the Kentucky Derby is ahead on Saturday, and if you're like most people, you're interested in the race, but maybe not the details and all the specifics like pedigree and speed. Instead, you only care about the important facts, and so we decided to do a Hey Kentucky Derby preview to get you ready for the race. So let's get started. Now, as we all know, this Saturday is the 144th running of the Kentucky Derby, an event which combines all the grace and fashion of high society with a guy in an old Ed Hardy pair of shorts peeing into an open Yeti cooler. We thought the excitement this year would be even greater due to a celebrity horse owned by New England Patriot Rob Gronkowski. But it wasn't to be, as that horse scratched in the weeks before the race. And while that may leave you disappointed, bear in mind you're not nearly as disappointed as some owner somewhere that now has a horse named Gronk that he has to deal with. So with Gronk out, what do we have? The favorite is Justify, which is trained by Bob Baffert. He's sitting in the driver's seat. The horse is 2-1, and it drew the 7th position out of the gate. And some people are saying Justify could be Baffert's next American Pharaoh, of course, the Triple Crown winner in 2015. Now, you're not going to have any trouble picking out Bob Baffert. They show him on TV every 5 minutes, and even if they don't, he's looked just like this since the beginning of the universe. This man never ages. True story, you may not know this. Bob Baffert is actually 936 years old. And if he takes off his glasses, you'll see he's eternal. Do not look at that man directly in the eye. Now, since a lot of people pick horses based on name alone, I'd expect a number of folks to bet on Justify because it sounds like the hit show Justified. The only difference is this Justify is actually from Kentucky and not an error-filled ripoff making fun of us. The second choice at 5-1 is Mendelssohn. He's an Irish horse, which means he's probably been drinking since Tuesday, has a lot of pent-up anger, and yesterday he tried to sucker punch the 8-1 horse Bolt d'Oro. He's so Irish, his trainer's name is actually Aidan O'Brien. Aidan O'Brien! I mean, could they have given him more of an Irish name? It's like if you were doing Mad Libs and it asked for Irish name and then Irish name. If Mendelssohn wins, he will join such great Irish athletes and champions as MMA fighter Conor McGregor, golfer Rory McIlroy, or the lesser-known beach volleyball player Fergus O'Callaghan. He needs some sun. The third choice is Magnum Moon, who's trained by Todd Pletcher. You know, one of the biggest stories this year in the Derby is Todd Pletcher. He's a thoroughbred trainer currently tied with Dwayne Lucas for the most Derby starters ever. This year, Pletcher has trained 4 of the top contenders: Magnum Moon, Audible, Vino Rosso, and Noble Indy. And like a parent that has 4 children, he definitely has his favorites. I sort of think Pletcher's a little bit like Donald Trump's family. Magnum Moon is kind of like Ivanka, classy, elegant, the star of the family. Audible's a little bit like Donald Jr. He has his ups and downs, and he kind of is weird, but on a good day, things can go well. Vino Rosso is a little bit like Eric. He's a creepy horse who suffers a bit from hoof and mouth disease and who is hard to look at. And Noble Indy is more like Tiffany, the horse Todd Pletcher loves the least and doesn't allow to go in public. 2 of the 3 favorites are going to have to face the curse of Apollo. That means no 3-year-old horse has won the Kentucky Derby without racing as a 2-year-old since the Derby winner Apollo 136 years ago in 1882. Both Justify and Magnum Moon hope to break the curse of Apollo and win the Derby. And maybe they can, but they don't even have the toughest curse. 2 horses, though, are actually under a tougher curse: Bravazzo and Good Magic. They both suffer from the curse of Matt Bevin. That's the curse where they were left home by teachers who went on strike last month and were exposed to poison and drugs. Kids, we should have listened to Matt Bevin. Now, Lone Sailor is a bit of a sad story. He's owned by Gail Benson. That's wife of the late former owner of the New Orleans Saints, Tom Benson. And he's running with a lot of emotion. And on Saturday, he's decided to honor the city of New Orleans with his race. Don't worry, he's going to be easy to spot. Combatant is a long shot at 50-1, but a really inspirational story. The horse is owned by Winchell Thoroughbreds. You may know Winchell's because they're the donut house that has over 170 locations across the country. What's really impressive is this horse has had to overcome those donuts and his upbringing to slim himself down for this year's Derby. Take a look at him a year ago. Way to go, Combatant. Keep it up. And finally is My Boy Jack, a possible dark horse to sneak into the winner's circle on Saturday. He's a horse that's performed well here at Keeneland. Many of you may have seen him win the Lexington Stakes a couple weeks ago, but that's not the only Kentucky connection. My Boy Jack hails from Fort Worth's Don't Tell My Wife Stables. That's really the name, Don't Tell My Wife Stables, which Rick Pitino, of course, found in the Fort Worth White Pages the last time he was in town and made at least 15 calls before realizing it was actually a horse stable. You know, I don't know yet which horse I'll bet on come Saturday, but I know one thing. I'm not betting on Hofburg. There's just something about that horse I can't get behind. I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So there you go. Whatever horse you bet on, I hope you win and have a success.